Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? How's everybody doing? Happy Tuesday. A little earlier than usual, but I've got some baseball to get to with my son, so we're going to knock this out very, very quickly tonight. Oh, you know what? I guess I should put the chat up. Hold on, my bad. This is what happens when I do things earlier than expected. All right, so can you guys hear me? How's everybody doing? Glad you guys were able to hop on. Absolutely, absolutely. We'll dive into it. Yeah, man, I'm doing good, bro. I'm doing good. My yeah. I feel like today flew by though, man. Anyway, it is what it is. Let's dive into it. We'll start off with the calendar, kind of my expectation for the week. Kind of look at I did get into a couple trades today, which is a little unusual for a Tuesday, especially for the amount of trades I got into, but I'll kind of go over them. One of them I ended up getting bounced out of. I mean, I paid myself my risk, so I really didn't. I don't take it as a loss, but it didn't go as planned. But the other two are definitely in profits, and I took significant partials off of indice plays that I got into. So I'll kind of break that down, go through some of the fundamentals at play. To go into the week, I'm not expecting large volatility. I'm really not expecting a lot of movement. I think we're gonna spend most of the week in the same area that we're in on a lot of the major pairs, specifically just looking for direction. And if anybody kind of spent the weekend looking at some fundamentals and looking at what some of the major analysts are kind of predicting, there's no agreement across the board. Like you've got some analysts that are calling for rate reductions. You've got others that are saying rate hikes. You got others that are saying they're going to pause. I mean, it is really, I don't even think I don't think Jerome Powell knows what the heck he's going to be doing next. I think it's all a wait and see game at this point. I think the CPI and PPI data that's going to come out next week and the following week, NFP that comes out. I mean, the labor statistics are going to be huge. So that's why I feel like this week we're just going to kind of sit in the range we're going to be in. I'm going to be personally playing the short game, just looking for quick little TPs to kind of finish out my month. That's kind of my game plan. So jumping into it, really I'm not too crazy about what's going to come out of the Australian CPI report. I mean, overall, they're projecting 7.2% year over year. All right, that's probably going to come in as estimate. I don't think that's really going to be a significant mover. I think we may get a short-term expansionary move, but I don't think it's going to be a big mover at all. What I am kind of fixated on is the unemployment claims, right? The last 4 weeks, these things have come underestimated, right? Last month was 191. They're projecting almost 196,000 unemployment claims for this week. We'll see what it does. This is going to be kind of the precursor to next week's NFP, right? That's what I'm looking at. Yeah, man, I'm doing good, bro. Doing good. Outside of that, if anyone paid attention to what BOJ did last night and spoke about, really, they're not really coming out and saying they're changing much. I do see the hawkish stance still staying put. So, this morning I was looking at bullish yen, meaning I was selling UJ. I was looking for sells on GJ, sells on CAD-J. I think that's really all we were looking at. I know we looked at Chef J, but Chef J really wasn't in an area that I wanted to do anything with. So I was looking at CAD-J, UJ, and GJ for shorts. So yen futures are really starting to continue to show me some bullishness. So that's what I'm going to kind of fixate on. But outside of that, that's it. I mean, we're really GDP. I mean, I think GDP is going to come in right around what it's projected. I don't see a huge significant change in that. And that's it. I mean, you've got coming Friday. I know we've got PCE reports, which, I mean, I'm done trading by that time. I mean, I'll maybe get into a little bit of an indice play on Friday, but outside of this, there's not a lot that's going to be really dictating what the market's going to do off of fundamentals. And that's really why I feel like we're just going to be in the same range we are until next week. Next week we've got some big movers, right? We've got Australian bank rates coming in. We've got NFP. We've got all kinds of stuff going out. So How do you feel about the China and Russia situation? Heard people say that that the dollar might get overthrown, including introducing the. Yeah, I mean, what do you think about that? I mean, I'm not going to hold my breath on it. Do you really have a good probability that the dollar is going to get overthrown on it? Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I would say this. When I guess when questions like that go out, just ask yourself, if Twitter and Instagram didn't exist, would I still have the same thought on it? And no, I mean, listen, dude, I'll tell you right now, if the dollar gets overthrown, there ain't going to be no digital currency. If the dollar gets overthrown, there's going to be, for the dollar to get over, for the dollar to be devalued and um, essentially wiped off of the face of the earth. I'm personally, I don't care about financial stuff anymore. The only thing I'm going to be worried about is do I have enough ammo? And B, do I have enough gas to get up into the mountain cabins that I've got? And yeah, bring the war to whoever's coming. That's really what I'm going to be looking at. Because yeah, there's going to be way more implications. I mean, we're talking about people with briefcases carrying some codes and stuff going off. So yeah. Better things to worry about. Exactly, bro. Exactly. US does. Actually, the US doesn't have the largest military. China has the largest military, but it doesn't. Yeah. China's definitely China's. I mean, well, shoot, China's definitely got a larger military foothold in the world. Well, not in the world. I take that back. The U.S. has the largest foothold, but China definitely has the mass. But all good. Bring it on. Bring it on. But Russia's the strongest. The strongest what? Military? You're kidding, right? All right, sounds good. I was going to say they've been trying to take over nuclear. No, they don't. No, are you kidding me? No, no, no. They don't have the largest nuclear stockpile. Yeah, they don't have the largest nuclear stockpile. Anyway, but yeah, so it is what it is. Um, yeah. Publicly they do, but they don't. They don't. Uh, if USA are stronger, they would have ended this already. What would they have ended though? Yeah, what would they have ended? Um, like with all these conflicts. Yeah, but the issue with that is you got to send people in. You know, do you want to go to Ukraine? I don't want to go to Ukraine. I mean, it's not affecting me that great. I mean, it sucks for those people in Ukraine, but I mean, you look at what's happened in Afghanistan, look at what's happened in Iraq. I mean, yeah, you can't just throw bombs over there. That's the problem. Because, it's a little different than Iraq and Afghanistan. Iraq and Afghanistan, they're not going to have bombs lobbing back at you. So yeah, if the US takes a direct approach to what's going on, then yeah, I mean, you're going to have Russia doing what they need to do to attack sovereign US territories and stuff. So I'm talking about nuclear war. Yeah, but the problem with nuclear war is there's no winner. Everybody's going to lose, bro. It's going to be a domino effect. If you don't remember, it's just not the US and Russia that have nuclear weapons, right? I mean, India's got nuclear warheads. You've got all the big European countries have, European warhead or European nuclear warheads. Yeah, man, it's that ain't a winning combo, man. So Do you still catch up with Zach from IM? You know, I honestly haven't messaged him, and it's just because I've been busy. But like right before Christmas, that was the last time I talked to Zach. Was right before. Actually, I think it was right around Christmas time. So, but I've been slammed, man. I've been slammed. So anyway, let's dive into it. Just because the wife has given me strict orders that I've got to get off by 6:30. So I've got to get over to the baseball field. But yeah, Zach, yeah, man, absolutely, absolutely. All right, so let's get into it. We've got so fundamentally not much going on, but I'll kind of give you my take on the dollar. Kind of dollar's still in the middle of nowhere for me, so I'm not really too aggressively trying to catch anything on it. Give me a sec. All right, so let's jump up here on the dollar. Oh, trading view. There we go. All right. So on the dollar side, I am not doing much with it. You know, we're still, this really hasn't given me any reason to buy it yet. We haven't done anything here, and I feel like we're still going to come lower. And this is my line in the sand. So obviously I would love for something to happen, but I honestly think that we're going to get this right here. This is why I feel like this week we're not going to do much. So I'm just going to play the short game on it. But I feel like this is potentially what we're going to see right here. That right there. You know, until this happens, I'm just going to kind of sit back and just watch it. I'll wave at the dollar. I am most definitely looking bullish dollar simply off the bond market. So I'm sure you guys have kind of paid attention to what's going on bonds. You know, start off on the 2-year. 2-year is looking like buyers are getting in this damn market. I mean, you know, we're getting some really, really good movement from buyers. So I've got my alert sitting right up here around like the whatever price point that is, but I've got alert on here. So the 2 years looking pretty good. 10-year is looking pretty identical to that. Again, buyers are looking like they're coming into this market. And even the 6-month, you know, we're looking out of the 6-month, we're looking at some really good indications that buyers are coming back into this market. So for me, obviously, I won't look at dollar index until these alerts go off, because that'll kind of indicate to me that we're starting to get a further fluctuation back into the bond markets of what's going on. So I'm pretty happy of where price is in the bond markets. And if we continue to see that strength, then eventually dollar index is going to catch up. So as of right now, I mean, I'm not doing anything with dollar. I'm just going to kind of sit back on it, let it do its thing. You know, for me to zoom out, I'm looking at it and I kind of like what I see. You know, ideally, this would be a really good scenario, especially if I can catch the accumulation down in here, right? So dollar wise, that's what I'm looking at. When I jump over to EU, man, there's just nothing I want to do with EU. So yeah, there's absolutely nothing yet. You know, this distribution kind of fell apart. The fact that we came right back into our slingshot during London crossover that ended up causing the break. Yeah, I mean, we came right back into it. We accumulated. There's nothing I really want to do with this. I was looking for a short-term buy on EU this morning, but she didn't give me anything. You know, this was the play I was looking at. We had really good divergence between euro and dollar right during Frankfurt. So I was looking for the buy, and it just didn't give it to me. So, you know, EU for me is kind of done. The buy happened, and there's not much I'm going to do out of it. So, you know, it is what it is. Looking over at GU though, right? And this is kind of what I was expecting with GU. I wanted us to come a little bit higher, right? I wanted us to come a little bit higher and ultimately sell out from this price action over here to the left. So I do like the fact that we are in this distribution, right? 1 drive, 2 drives. Now this is our 3rd drive. So I do want to see if it gives me an opportunity to short out of here. So going into like tonight, London or something like that, I'm going to be looking for I am going to be looking for some kind of distribution in here. So whether or not we've got the start of it, we got our one drive, our two drive, you know, potentially our third drive, then what I want is just a sweep, right? A sweep, and I'll start shorting it off. All right. I do like where we're at with it. You know, but it's all going to be kind of just sitting back and waiting for tonight's price action. You know, I did get the alert today that it took out what I wanted. I really did have a good feeling that we were going to sweep out Frankfurt today, and she ultimately did. So there was really nothing for me to play out of this that I wanted to. I was kind of just waiting for our short. So where it sits right now, it's right in here. And if it gives me that type one, I'll take it. You know, if it gives me that type one, specifically like Frankfurt, and then we get the break, I'm going to be shorting it, and I'm going to be taking it down into my next demand area. All right. Did you take an entry off the distribution that formed during London? No, I didn't. Nope. Yeah, I mean this morning I was expecting us to take out that high. So how did you know we would sweep Frankfurt today? Well, because sellers weren't in control of any of this. This is all buyer driven. So until I start to see some weakness, and it's until I start to see some form of sellers really filling orders, there's no point in me trying to short this. So yeah, where were we? Let's see. Hold on, let me pull up Discord. Let me look at what we saw this morning. All right, give me one sec. Yeah, so the one question I'd ask is, so you've got price in here. You got price here. What's the point of interest? What gets you to go lower time frame to try to short it out of there? For me, this is my schematic: one drive, two drive, three drive. So why do I want to short this, right? What gets me to go lower time frame? Let's see. Watch list. Where's old GU? Oh yeah, here's GU. Yeah, this is what we were kind of expecting. I was waiting for that up here. I had a really good suspicion we were going to sweep it. But yeah, so that's the question. Like what gets you to go lower time frame here? When price is sitting right here, what gets you to short it? Why short it out of that? You don't have any real convincing evidence to see that this is sellers. You know, do we have inclination that it's sellers? Sure, but nothing that I'm going to short out of, right? I mean, all this did was come right back into demand. And if you measure out, right, I think I got it marked out. If you measure out where it actually came into, I think I marked it out. If you measure out where it came into, I believe she came into, there you go. She came in right into that 50% and accumulated. And then if you measure out where she came in to mitigate, 80%, like this is all buyer driven. So yeah, I mean, you could see here, I was anticipating us to sweep out this high anyway. So yeah. Cool. Yeah. But yeah, so GU, I'll be looking to see if she creates a distribution after sweeping these highs. If she gets up into here, I'll be looking to short it, but I need some clear convincing evidence that sellers are in this market. All right. So that's GU, right? That's GU. On EG. So on EG, let's jump back up to a higher time frame. What do you mean buyer driven? The reactions from the buys? So like, right, you can have a seller driven accumulation and you can have buyer driven distribution. So you'd have to, right? You gotta isolate and validate who is creating the schematic. So yeah. So anyway, here is on EG. I'm still pretty convinced that we're going to sweep. We're going to go higher. Whether or not we come into Frankfurt and then go higher. Now, if we sweep it, you can kind of see where my alerts are sitting, right? Let me hide some of these drawing tools. There we go. So you can kind of see where my alert's sitting. We either sweep out this high. I'd love to come back into here, right? 50% of that or 80% of this whole move. I'd love to come up in there. This really isn't important to me. It's just that the reason I've got my alert here is because this is like the 50% of the whole move. But what I'd like to see is price come up here, sweep out all of these weak-handed sellers, or I need us to just confirm redistro, right? We confirm redistro, then I'll come back. The only thing that sucks about this is really this move really hasn't confirmed a lot of manipulation for me. So that's why I'm hoping that, this accumulation, we end up reaccumulating, and maybe by end of week, we're here, right? That's kind of what I'm going to be. All right. So yeah, that's kind of my thought, my game plan with EG. I am looking shorts. I do like where the shorts are. I just need to be a little patient with this. All right. But I'm going to be looking, if we can sweep out all of this, and I guess I can put it like that. If we could sweep out all of that bad boy and give me a manipulation, game on, right? Game on. So that's EG. We'll talk about NU and AU, right? So last week I got into a nice little NU short last week. I think it was Thursday last week. Got into this really nice NU short. Did exactly what I was kind of anticipating out of this distribution. And unfortunately, what I didn't like the fact that we haven't made a new low, right? So this is just bullish price action. So I did take some partials on Friday. And what I'm looking for now is I'm actually looking for us to actually sweep and take me out. What I want to see is us come up. Here we go. I want to see us come up and ultimately this be the type 1 distribution that plays into my slingshot that then allows me to create the redistribution, right? That's what I want to get into. This is looking pretty clean. Now, the question is going to be whether or not we do get up here, right? We could very easily just play into here and then sweep it down. However, the Australian dollar's kind of been showing that they're the leader of late. So we could potentially get that manipulation above the highs. And that's okay. I'm perfectly fine with that. So I will be looking. You can see I got my alert sitting here and I've got my alert down here. I've just boxed it out. I'm not going to play anything in the middle. We either go up here and I'll look for my short, or we end up giving a sign of weakness, and then I'll be looking for pullbacks or continuation moves to then target this low down here. All right. So I am holding this short up from up here. I did give a nice little entry. It was pretty simple. Like, just go back and back test it. It gave a pretty easy distribution. I want to say, so Thursdays and Fridays, I wake up early, right? So it was right at like London crossover, but it gave a 1 to 11 at its peak. I probably ended up taking some profits somewhere in here, maybe at like 61.90. I'd have to look at the journal, but yeah, I definitely got some nice partials out of it. And then we'll see what happens from there. All right. On the AU side, and I'll stick kind of like into the grouping that they're in. On the AU side, I actually got into, here we go. I actually got into a position this morning, and it was simply just, you've got perfect distribution. You've got your sign of weakness. And what I wanted to see is, what was your risk on NU? What do you mean, what was my risk? Like how much dollars did I risk on it? 0.07. What's 0.07%? No, bro. Order flow for me is 125, man. So yeah, that's what I'm throwing on an order flow play. So if it was split risk, then yeah. So it was I would have done on a 100K account, I would have done 6250. So it was split risk. So that's what I did was 0.625. Yeah, 0.625. Yep. So 16th of a percent. What percent do you take on your take profits? Depends, man. Depends on the situation or scenario. What was the POI you had on NU short? It didn't seem like it was in a key area. No? You sure? Look again. Where do we play into? So not only do we have a one drive, two drive, three drive, not only are we in the fourth drive, potentially, we've swept out all the weak handed sellers and we've played into our redistribution supply point. So it's not enough that I'm going to set a limit on it, but can I look for on the fourth drive a sweep above that for a schematic? Sure. And when price gives me this, why wouldn't I take that bad boy? I mean, this is exactly what I look for, right? That's exactly what I wanted to see. So I got filled right here. Yeah. You were looking a little higher. All right. For example, what percent would you have taken on NU trade? It depends on the scenario, bro. I mean, yeah, it depends on the scenario. Like, what did I personally do on this? I closed. So I took. What did I do? I paid myself the risk on this break, and then when we broke here, I took one order, and then when we got to the 90 level, so I had four orders total. So I closed out one order, paid partials on this. So I had two full orders and a partial. So what I ended up when we come here, I closed out that partial and then one full order, just like that, just because it's getting towards the end of my month. I just didn't realize it was the SC. Well, it's not the SC, right? It's not the SC. The SC is up here. This is the SC. This right here for me, that is the SC. Yeah, that's the SC. That's where I'm hoping you could see how I've got it marked out. That's where I'm hoping we come to. But we're in the fourth drive here. This could have easily have gone down, right? This is continuation move, right? This is a continuation move. It doesn't need to mitigate. So, all right. Yeah, cool. All right. So on AU, yeah, AU this morning again for me was pretty clean. Where the heck is AU? Yeah, so this is what we were looking at this morning on AU. Yeah, we were looking for price to come in here. We had a lot of confluence, right? 50% of this whole thing is right here. You know, you've got something in here. That's what I was looking for. So if price walked itself into that, that's what I wanted to see. And so here's my box. This is where we were looking. And yeah, this is where she came into. So that's what I took. We had a little bit of divergence with NU. We also had RSI, right? Relative strength divergence. So yeah, I mean, I ended up taking this trade here and I paid myself as soon as I started seeing the accumulation. I reduced my risk, just paid myself what I had at risk, and then I got taken out. So I haven't made any profits off of this. And there's nothing I'm doing with it now. I mean, I could care less about what it does. Potentially, if it redistributes, maybe I'll look at this later tonight. But it gave me an opportunity to at least protect what I was trading on it. But yeah, that's ultimately what I was looking at AU, and that's how she ended up finishing. So, do you use $125 for a 200K account? I could, sure. Yep. Yeah, my risk is all dependent on the scenario and situation. So I'm not one of those guys that every trade I'm doing 125 or every trade I'm doing 250 or whatever. It depends on the situation scenario and how I mean, I know what my max risk is going to be on a situation, but it all depends on the scenario. So anyway, so this is AU, and the idea that I'm looking for with AU, like, could we go higher? Sure. I mean, realistically, we can come up, we can come all the way up here. So, if this ends up being our down cycle, right? If this ends up redistributing, then I'll just keep playing the order flow down. Obviously, when we get to a certain area, I'm going to wait for this break here, and then I'll just continue pushing it lower. If she doesn't, right? Like I said, if she comes up higher, I'll be interested. This is what I want us to mitigate, that right there. So, this is an area where I would like for it to come on up to. So on these trades, well, no, I said if I was doing on a 100K account, I would have done a 125 risk. So yeah, math is a whole lot easier on a 100K account. So I'll always say I'll follow a 100K account. Yeah, when you say you paid your risk, do you mean you have moved one of your full order stop loss into 0.13% of profit, or closing one order at 0.13%? It depends. So I'll either pay out my risk and leave stop losses where they're at, or I'll move my stop losses. So it all depends on if the high that we came into, if I don't expect price to go higher, then I'll leave the stop losses where they're at and I'll just pay myself the physical risk. If there's an opportunity for price, so like an example would be a 1580 split, and I'm only triggered on the 50, but I want to keep the 80 entry active. So what I'll do is I'll just pay myself the risk and leave the stop losses where they're at. So that way, if they do hit stop loss, I haven't lost anything. So it depends. All right, cool. So yeah, AU, that's kind of, I've been only closing an order and leaving some partials on the table. Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah, for me, it's all scenario based, right? It depends on, from the management perspective, it depends on what's going on. I've added stop orders in as well, and that's kind of thrown a little loophole into the whole management perspective as well, because definitely price can go back up into the 50 or 80. So I could tell you on a stop order, I'm definitely paying myself more partials on it just to protect it. But yeah, it is what it is. Okay. So that's the game plan with AU. And we talked about NU. We'll talk about the yen crosses, right? So EJ, I was looking, what did EJ do? I was looking at EJ for a little bit, but I really liked, oh yeah, this is why I stopped looking at EJ. Yeah, because we came, that's right. This morning I said even worse. That's right. All right. So I'm not, yeah, EJ is just kind of, EJ, I have no idea what EJ is doing. EJ's buyers and sellers are in both of this. So for me, until something happens, I'm not doing anything with EJ. Hey, what's up, bro? Am I looking at you, Chef? I know I am not. I'm not looking at you, Chef, bro. I haven't looked at you, Chef, in a minute. So EJ is off the table, but I was looking at CADJ. So what the heck was I looking at CADJ on? On CADJ. So I'm imagining we didn't do any. Yeah, I don't think we did anything. So I was looking at this distro. Now, CADJ did give when was this? This was Wednesday last week. CADJ gave a really nice entry in here, just playing off the previous redistro. And then obviously when we redistro, I was kind of looking for price, but this looks like a bag of crap. So I am not too enthusiastic about what CADJ is giving me. What did I put in there? Well, I mean, yeah, all right. So I figured this morning I was expecting us to come push up higher. Whether or not it was going to give us a distro in here or not, but it doesn't look like it gave anything that I wanted to look at. So I saw the alert go off earlier, but by then I was already kind of knee deep in some other trades, so I really didn't want to even bother with CADJ. So what gets me involved in CADJ now? I mean, all of this price action is garbage. So I still think that we come back up into here. So maybe this turns into something. Maybe that's one drive, two drive, maybe a third drive. Maybe we get up here. So maybe we get something above these highs into this price action here. And then I'll be looking to short it. But yeah, I'm looking to short yen futures, right? Or I'm sorry, yen pairs. Yen futures for me is going to be is bullish. I'm looking. Yeah, I'm looking for continuation plays to the upside. Actually, what did she do this morning? Did she do what I? Oh yeah, look at that. All right, so we are getting what I wanted to see. So obviously, if price now can take out this high, that's going to really give me further confidence in the bullishness of this thing. So, CAJ, I'm looking at GJ. GJ kind of irritated me. Where's GJ? GJ didn't break the low for me, so I didn't do anything with it. Where's GJ? All right, so this morning, this is what I wanted. I needed the break, right? I needed us to break this, and then I was looking for this. So, but she didn't break it. You could see here, yeah, here's the same drawing. So she came in, she distributed out of the 80 perfectly, tapped right into it. But there was no break. So no, this alert never went off. So I never saw this happen. And I still wouldn't even take it at this point. With GJ, yeah, with GJ, we may have the bigger schematic. So we might have a one drive, two drive, three drive. So ideally, what I'm anticipating is that we're going to sweep up, take out these highs, play into this before shorting down. That's kind of the thought process. So this is your redistro, right? There's your ICE. Where's the 80% of this whole thing? Do I have it mark off? Yeah. Okay. So this is the 80%. This is where I feel like we're going to come. So I think we're in a larger distro. I feel like we're going to come up, sweep it out, and then do something like this. So this is why I'm still looking for shorts on GJ. And of course, with UJ, I'm in. Actually, I don't know if I got to check to see if I'm still in this thing. On UJ, I did get into UJ shorts. So what I was looking at was, again, bullish nature on yen futures. But what I was looking at was this. So we do have the break and the sign of weakness. We do come out of this redistribution. I did have a limit order out of the type 1 that happened up here, but she missed it by like 4 pips. So what I did get into was simply just this. We have the distribution at the top. We have the redistro, and I'm just playing the order flow down. So once we broke, I just split risk off of this 50 and 80 and got filled. I was going to pull the trigger on this as a type 1, but it never gave me the type 1. So as soon as we broke, reduced my risk, deleted the 80. And I did pay myself the partials when we came in to the 80% of this whole leg, which was right here. Actually, I think I took it 130,600 is where I actually paid myself the risk. So I closed out one order, paid myself a little bit of partials on it. And now we'll see what happens. I mean, this really didn't give me a lot of convincing that sellers still want to push this lower. So, I mean, we could push higher, but even this doesn't show me a lot of buyers in this market either. So, we'll kind of see what happens. Like zooming out on this, like what could we potentially see happen? I still think we're going to come up here. Now that we broke this low right here and we redistributed, I feel like price is either going to sell off and then we'll come back up to mitigate, or they're going to come up to mitigate now. And I think, realistically, that's probably the better bet, because what it'll do is you've got the accumulation. Maybe we'll do this, shakeout weak-handed sellers come in to mitigate before breaking the low. So this is kind of what I'm waiting for. I want this play. So that's what I'm looking at it for this. Can you use UJ and EJ for divergence, right? So what would be the divergence that you're looking for? So if we got UJ up on the 30-minute and we've got EJ up on the 30-minute, so what divergence would you be looking for? Actually, I think it's easier if we kind of look at it as a 4-hour view. I was looking at the distribution you had a limit on. There was divergence. Yeah, but so why would you look at UJ and EJ though? What reason would you? I mean, could you do it? I guess you could, but I think there's better uses of divergence. So what would you be looking for divergence on? Does EJ and UJ, do they move as comparable assets? I just thought since the DXY and Euro can, it works the same. Right. So in theory, if you're going to do UJ and EJ, you have to invert one, right? But it's not going to work like that. So if the dollar side is bullish, if USD is bullish, that would mean that the euro is bearish, right? So how can you play divergence with it as comparable strength? And if you invert it, so if we invert, actually, we may be inverted. Hold on. Where is, there we go. And if we invert it, then it absolutely doesn't look the same, right? So we would be like this. So there is no divergence that you can use as comparable assets between EJ and UJ. I mean, none that I've ever come across, right? Does that make sense? Yeah. So for me, if you're trading UJ, what's the way to do it? Then you use comparable strength with yen futures. All right. If you're doing AJ, you use NJ. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of how I look at it. So you were looking more, there was divergence on the lower time frame. Gotcha. All right. How's the bot doing? What bot? Yeah. Yeah, bro, you got it, man. You got it. Yeah, just I mean, in theory, you could, right? You should be able to EJ and UJ. but EJ and UJ. So it would only happen. I would say this, not that I would do this because for me, it's just easier to use yen futures. But if I wanted to use EJ as comparable strength with UJ, the dollar would have to be driving UJ in order for me to use comparable strength. So only in instances when it does that, right? That's what I would, that's the only time I would do it. But then if you're wrong about the dollar, I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's not difficult to see when dollar's driving it, but in the chance that you're looking at it and then tomorrow you anticipate dollar still driving it, but it's not, it can kind of mess you up on it. So yeah. Yep. You had an EA you were using last month for UJ, or am I mistaken? I had an EA that I was using for UJ. Yeah, I mean, I use EAs for stuff, but yeah, no. Sounds good, man. Yeah. All right, cool. Cool. All right, so we're done with the yens, right? UCAD, man, UCAD's just kind of dancing. Like I figured, it's just going to be, I feel like I'm waiting here forever. It's getting down there. I mean, this is where I've been waiting for, it feels like an eternity. We'll see what she does. My anticipation, honestly, I really don't have a clue on where I want to start looking. For me, what I want to see is I want to see something like this, right? I want to see something like this. So I don't have to pick the bottom. And realistically, I'm not going to miss this because this potentially is going to take 2 days to do. So until we start kind of just like leveling out, I'm not going to be doing much with it. I'm just going to sit back and wait on it. But yeah, there's nothing that really interests me here. I mean, this is definitely the pullback. I mean, it's giving, what did it do? Did she come into, I bet you she did. Actually, I wonder if there was a little type 1 in there that she came in to mitigate. It looks like it. But yeah, there's not much I want to do with UCAD yet. I mean, I want discounted pricing. If we can get price to push a little lower, I'll be happy with that. But there's just not much I want to do with it on this end. Now, on the other CADs, like NCAD played out pretty nice the other day. Same thing. I was looking. So there was a short position. I think it's still there. Hold on. Yeah, there she is. So there was a short position last week on Thursday that I ended up closing out the whole order simply because I just wanted all those profits on Friday. All right. So I closed out this order last week. And I mean, I mean, it ain't no secret. I've been bearish as crap on NCAD and ACAD. So I do like what we're seeing here. And if price can get either a really decent redistribution to the downside, I mean, that's my target. My target's this low, and continuation after that. Or I don't see us sweeping this high. I mean, if we do, my assumption is we're coming into this. But when you look at what ACAD is doing, right? ACAD really isn't giving me the indication that we're doing that. So this morning I was looking at ACAD and NCAD, and I mean, nothing really stood out. I really didn't like what was going on in here other than the fact that, yeah, we had some sellers. I didn't like the fact that the distribution just kind of laid right back into demand. I didn't like the fact that nothing in this gave me any indication of who's really in control of the market. So I kind of just sat there, but I did notice that we had a little bit of divergence here between ACAD and NCAD. So that's where I did take and pull the trigger on an ACAD short. So I'll kind of walk you into today's trade, but kind of looking at it, I'm still in this trade here from this sell stop that I took on Friday morning. So this was Friday. I took ACAD and AU. And I liked what we got into it. I liked it coming back into the redistribution. It was a pretty clean play. There's the sell stop that I took off of the redistro. And I took partials when we came into 50%. So it was like it was a 1 to 8.5 where I partialed out. And then, at its most, it was like a 1 to 17. But I'm still holding what I got. And then when we came in here, obviously what I'm looking for, right? We get the Frankfurt sweep, take out all the liquidity, play back in, and then confirm redistro. So when we came back into this area, this is where I wanted to really start to pay attention to ACAT. And as we came in this morning, right? As we came in this morning, what do we have, right? Well, we got the break that I wanted to see, the sign of weakness on the overall distribution here, right? And I told myself, well, okay, if we come back into premium, sweeping out liquidity, coming back into premium, I'll play a distribution. So lo and behold, right? I mean, not only do we get relative strength divergence, but we got comparable strength because, like I said, NCAD doesn't give the sweep; it actually goes lower. So I mean, that's it. I mean, it's a pretty clean distribution. And then I only had one order off of the 50 because it was 1.3 pips. So I didn't even split it off the 80. I just took it right off the 50, came in, I did pay already myself the partials on it. And where I'm looking to take my next partials, hold on, let's get back out to like the 1 minute. There we go. So I already did pay myself the partials in this accumulation. I manually closed it. What time did I manually close it? I know, let's see. So it was probably around like 2:45-ish or something like that. So it was around, actually, yeah, it was around here where I manually closed it. So I closed the one order just to pay myself some partials. So it was about like, I know it was over a 1 to 10. So like 1 to 12, something like that is where I was at with it. And, just like on AU, we're in a larger distribution. So could we sweep up the high? We could, or what's going to get me back in is this accumulation turning into a redistro. Now I'm going to first play out of the redistro. And for me, I'm going to be targeting this low down here. I'm going to be targeting this low down here. Right. So we've got potentially, upwards of like 80 something pips for me to get down there. And, the short that I am in from today to that low is going to be a 1 to 67. And the one from Friday would be around like a 1 to 20. So I'm just going to continue to hold these shorts and trying to build on some more orders. So that was ACAD. I mean, overall, I like where we're at. I do feel like if we do break this low, I got a feeling we're going to come back and mitigate this. So that's what I'm going to be prepared for. But I do like the shorts on it. Let's see. Hold on. All right. Cool. Which entry did you have on NCAD? Was it off the test after the break of the initial distribution, or was it off the redistrib from last Thursday on NCAD? No, it was off the distribution, bro. Yeah, it was off the distro. As soon as TradingView opens it up. There you go. Yeah, this was my entry right here. Yeah, that was my entry. Yep. Where you consider setting a limit on ACAD redistro around 91,400. Uh, 91,400 on ACAT. Let's see. All right, so 91,400. Hold on. Would I set a limit on this? No, I wouldn't set a limit on it. No, I need a schematic. It does for me. It doesn't meet my criteria for a limit order. It doesn't hold anything. Yeah. When you say you paid yourself the risk, you mean literally if you're risking $250, you took $250 off. If I'm putting my order to break even, yes. If I reduce my risk and that $250 risk to reduce risk is only $109, then I paid myself the $109. Yeah. Whatever my risk is at the time. Sorry, I just confused. That seems like a lot of the trade being taken off early. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, it for me, it's, yeah, it depends on, like I said, I very rarely go to break even. So if, yeah, I don't know, like, where's this thing? Where's this trade here? So like if I take, let's just say that this was 100K account and I threw 125 at it. Right. So I threw 125 at it. So that means that so $125 for every 1.3, for every 1.3 pips. So on MT5 and MT4, well, MT5, I don't know about MT4, but MT5, it's super easy to tell what you have at risk. You just put it on the thing and it'll tell you. But so this tells me that I have 0.4 of a pip plus whatever the spread. So just make sure you add spread in. But, if I'm doing $125 into 1.3, right? So that's $96 a pip, times that by 0.4, right? So I take $38, right? $38 off the risk. So what I would do is I would pay myself by reducing my risk, right? By reducing my risk, I'm just going to pay myself $38. And that way, if this thing ends up coming up and taking me out and hitting my stop loss, I've got everything off. I don't lose anything, right? Because I've taken it off the table. All right. On 8-cap broker, the low, on 8-cap, it broke the low, but on a Wanda, it didn't. Yeah. Do you trust the 8-cap broker? I've heard nothing but great things about the 8-cap broker, bro. For the love, bro. Yeah, bro. Don't worry about bots, man. Ain't nothing to do about it. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you got it, man. You got it. All right, cool. Alrighty. So let me catch up on YouTube. Sounds good, bro. Sounds good. All right. All right. So that's ACAT, yeah. And on ACAT, I mean, I'm just going to continue to look for shorts, typical end of New York here. So what I want to see is, much like AU, does this turn into a larger distro? And then down we go, bro. That's what I'm looking for. So that's currency wise. I mean, I'm really going to be focused this week. I like the yens, right? All day long, I'm selling AU, NU, ACAD, and NCAD because Australian dollar and Kiwi dollar are bearish as can be. I'll be waiting on EG, and then I'll be waiting on GU. I'm really not going to be focused too much EU or dollar, simply because I feel like we're just going to be sideways for a couple of days into next week. So that's my game plan with them. And Yeah, I mean, I'll play either continuation move on like ACAT and AU, or if we get that UTAD, then I'll play mitigation of the UTAD. And then indices, I did catch some plays today. Now you can kind of see my game plan here is I do feel like this distro may turn into a larger distro, and I think we're going to come up and get into this candle. So I'll be waiting on that. Today was just a simple play. I had a limit order off the 80. I actually had split entry. So I had a limit order off of the UTAD off the bigger schematic, right? So, right, I mean, we're in a larger schematic. This is my UTAD. So I just measured that out, had an entry on the 80 right here. And then I had a 50 entry just in case it didn't come up to that 80. You know, we have a distro in here, we mitigate here. So I had it off of this, I had it off that 50%. So I got filled on both of them. Obviously, took partials when we broke that low, and here we are now. So, you know, whether or not we come back into this redistribution tonight, you know, fair play, I'll play it, you know, but I want to see a pretty decent schematic on it. And I'm only going to be playing price action off of it. Now, if we're here going into New York Open, which I don't think we will be, but if we're here going into New York Open, I'll have a limit order off that 80%, right? To see if I can pop in on it and then just short it down. So that's what I'm going to be looking at on indices. SPX gave a redistro early today, but ended up hitting my reduced risk. You didn't take any partials? I'm pretty sure we took the same entry, bro. I paid myself. I took half the order off when we broke the low. You just took the risk off. No, I closed out half the order. Yeah, I closed out half. This was my trade right here. I was hoping we get up a little higher, but when I saw we were just coming right into this, yeah. I mean, I closed out half the order right here. Yeah, I closed out half the order right here. Yeah, so what was this on a, yeah, so it was, I didn't even have split entry. It was just off the 80. So I closed out half and it made me a third of a percent by closing out half. Yeah. Do I mind going through SPX and NAS? Yeah, bro, that's what we're doing now. But yeah, I mean, this was pretty easy. I mean, this is the open. Where is my oh well, I'll reset it later. But yeah, this was the open. So I knew we were going to come back into this, and yeah, she just walked herself up in. I was hoping it would go a little lower to take. Yeah, but so what was where were you looking to take partials at? I mean, I'm with you. This is look, I mean, this is where I was expecting us to come, but it's the end of the month and I want to close out my books in pretty good profits. So yeah, I'm going to take, especially knowing that there's nothing fundamentally today that was going on other than the House speakers going on. Right. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing to really drive this lower. It's going to be whether or not they're going to sell it off or not. And ultimately you can kind of see where my next play is going to be right here. So this is my next play. That's where I'm hoping we get to tonight. I want to sweep out this. I want to sweep out this, come right up to here, close to this 4,000 level. And that's where I'm selling it off from. So, and obviously we could even go higher than that, right? We could take out this high and come into this, and I'm still going to be looking for selling it off from there. So those are going to be my two areas. And I'm looking, it keeps testing that fourth. Yeah. I mean, just look at what we're doing on the higher time frame. Right? I mean, just look what we're doing. We're just walking this up. Right? I'm honestly surprised we didn't get here to come one more to come up into here so that we can redistribute. So that's kind of what my game plan with it is. But yeah, I definitely like SPX, and the shorts out of here, I mean, made some pretty good profits. So well, So there on SPX, will you take a limit or out of where? Out of 4,000? Take a limit out of 4,000. What does it hold? Like when you're talking about it here, out of here? So I'm guessing this is what you're thinking about, right? Yeah. So what, like for me, the answer is no. And this is why, because it doesn't hold anything. So like when we think about it, right? So we've just been reaccumulating. We came back, mitigated, accumulated, and we're stuck. We're stuck here now. Right. So there's nothing for me to play on this. Now, could I have played and did I want to play a limit order if we would have broken and then come right back up to mitigate? Yes. But now that we've confirmed this distro and now we've done the redistro, you know, this doesn't hold anything for me. So there's no limit order. Same thing like this right up here doesn't hold anything for me. So there's no limit order. Now, is it a valid point of interest for me to sell out of? Yes, but it doesn't hold anything. So yeah. Do I have a private trading group or something? Yeah, man, just DM me on Discord, bro. Yeah. So if it doesn't, for me, limit orders are, I'm either going to always set limit orders on lines in the sand, right? Things that hold something. Or, I mean, will I throw a limit order on something that doesn't? Very rarely I will, but it's because I have circumstances like I know I'm not going to be able to watch price action, and then I just got to come up with a number that I'm comfortable in losing, because I'm not going to be there to see it. So, yeah. So, but that's my game plan with SPX and US 30, and then like NASDAQ. So, NASDAQ kind of ticked me off, but it is what it is. I had an 80 entry on yesterday, but it didn't get triggered, so I deleted it. I got you. Yeah. So NASDAQ is just a bag of freaking crap right now. I mean, it just isn't giving anything. My take on NASDAQ right now is, well, I mean, so this is kind of what I was hoping for. I was kind of hoping that we would get this to push up a little bit higher. But after seeing some of like the news releases on some of the tech stuff, I just don't see them pushing this higher. Realistically, what I would want to see, I don't know what manipulation we're going to get to the top side, right? But what I would want to see is, maybe we get, manipulation here and then a distribution to then short it. If I can get something here, great. Maybe this will be the redistro that causes this break. And then after we confirm this as the redistro, this will be the points of interest. But like as of right now, I mean, we're bullish from here. And all of this is just, I mean, like realistically, I feel like we could just do this. I feel like we could just do this and it'll make things so much easier. Right. Yeah. I mean, that's really where NASDAQ is. So, I mean, higher time frame. I'm ready to sell the crap out of this thing. I just need manipulation or some kind of weakness. And we've just been dancing around for forever with this thing. I was kind of, like I said, I was kind of hoping we'd get a little more push up to maybe like 13, like 190 area, see if we can get up into that, which is this right up here. But yeah, NASDAQ right now is not something I'm going to mess around with, just because there's so much information coming into the tech space with some key shakeups and reports and all that junk. So I'm just going to sit back and do nothing with it. We'll see what happens. Uh, yeah, all good, all good. All right. I'm catching up on. All right, YouTube's good. Yeah. So overall, absolutely, I'm bearish on indices, bro. Yeah. No, you're bullish on them. Yeah. I mean, what would be the reason you're bullish on them? I mean, I'm holding shorts. I'm holding shorts from up. Let's see. I'm holding shorts from right up here. I still got shorts, and I think I got a short out of here as well coming into that. And I did have shorts in there, but this got taken out. So, but yeah, I mean, this is setting up to be another redistro. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm not trying to buy these, man. It's a whole lot easier to sell them than it is to buy them. There's way less effort in the shorts. So yeah, I'm not going to be going back in on buys until we get at least down into this. So yeah, that's kind of my game plan. But yeah, that's pretty much what I'm looking at. I mean, yeah, I'm looking for opportunities to short indices, and I'm going to be focused on like Kiwi and Australian dollar pairs this week, and then these yen crosses. Just because I don't think we're going to get out of the majors. I don't think we're going to get a lot of volatility. I think we're just going to be kind of going sideways with it. It's going to be kind of one of those like slow weeks, I think, until we get some kind of reaction, some kind of clear, I guess, reaction. And that's what I'm going to be. So yeah, cool, cool, cool. Anybody else have any other questions? Now's the time. Now is the time. You got it, bro. Yeah, I'm gonna go watch my son play some baseball. And yeah, we'll see what happens, man. Sounds good. Awesome. Well, listen, thank you guys up. I will catch you guys later. Have a great one. Thanks for hopping on.